order. It's focusing on crime.
The themes of his campaign.
Yeah.
Which, that totally makes sense to me. But I do want to push back on what David was saying about essentially saying that this is a problem that came from the Democratic side, and I would hope that we could take a little time off.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio.
We are continuing to follow the developing story of what the FBI has classified as an attempted assassination on Donald Trump's life today. And what is not shocking is the aftermath of what is happening, the MAGA meltdown that has followed today's news. We are seeing bad actors like Laura Loomer Don Jr. and, of course, Donald Trump himself try to use today's news for their political gain by pushing fake narratives, making outrageous accusations, but those are all backfiring in their faces because of some shocking news that we have gotten about the suspected assailant in this assassination attempt. And it really is putting to shame all of these things that MAGA is trying to say. Unsurprisingly, but before we get into this shocking post that the suspected assailant made, I want to quickly check out a clip of J.D. Vance that I think puts a lot of this into perspective. And if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, it goes a long way in supporting our channel. Now let's check out this clip.
Now look, the Kamala Harris answer to this is to take law-abiding American citizens' guns away from them. That is what Kamala Harris wants to do. She says, look, I don't like this. I don't like to admit this. I don't like that this is a fact of life.
As we will see the MAGA outrage over the events of today, as this video continues, I am just so disappointed that we don't see that type of outrage from people like J.D. Vance or Donald Trump after a school shooting. Donald Trump proudly saying he did nothing to defend children from the #1 cause of death for them in America, which is gun violence, and of course J.D. Vance saying disgustingly that it's a fact of life. These people don't care, and it's almost as if they also don't care about the assassination attempt today. But what they want to do is, like I said, use it for their own political gain. And when they tried to do that, it quickly backfires, especially with the information we just got. But you can see this narrative that they're trying to push, that it's Democrats who are responsible for the events of today. And it is important for us to check this out before we get to the new information, because it really shows how this is backfiring in their face. So let's quickly check out this post from a MAGA conspiracy theorist, MAGA internet personality. Stephen Miller responded to a tweet of Hakeem Jeff, who said, "Extreme MAGA Republicans are the party of a national abortion ban in Trump's Project 2025. We must stop them." Miller responded. The Demouse leader tweeted this 30 minutes after a second assassination attempt on Trump. We saw this after the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump, that MAGA tried to say that it was Democrats in their rhetoric calling out Donald Trump's terrible policy and failures as president. That was the response, that we were responsible for what happened on that day, and they're trying to do it again. But of course, it is blowing up in their face because of new information about this attempted assailant, the suspected assailant, that I want to check out right here. Tweets are now resurfacing of the suspected assailant in Donald Trump's assassination attempt today, with the individual writing, "Donald Trump, well, you were my choice in 2016, and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we all were greatly disappointed, and it seems you are getting worse and devolving. And you are the reward, which I will not say I will be glad when you are gone." So while MAGA wants to push this narrative that this individual is some democratically inspired anti-Trumper, it's just not true. He is disillusioned by Trump himself, and reporting is indicating that this individual is an unaffiliated voter in North Carolina. And so, no, he has not some Democrat. He is not they that J.D. Vance continues to say are coming after Donald Trump. That is just entirely not true. And it's especially clear with what he posted here. The individual earlier this year wrote at Nikki Haley, please join VC Ramaswamy as a team of president and vice president. We must do this now to create a winning ticket. Now that we can all get behind, please do not be selfish and arrogant, partner, now to change the course of this election, break norms, and give us an option. This individual was heavily invested in the Republican primary. It's clear that they are not a Democrat, but that is not what MAGA wants you to think. MAGA wants to push this idea that it's Democratic rhetoric calling out Donald Trump for his policy failures. What we want to talk about actual policy in this election. They think that we are the ones inspiring political violence when that is just so not true. But before I get into the other ridiculous responses from MAGA, I want to check out one from Laura Loomer that wasn't necessarily a call out of Democrats, but I just think is so funny that we have to look at Laura Loomer, Trump's new pal, took to Twitter and wrote, I am driving to West Palm Beach, Florida to cover the attempted assassination of President Trump. I will be posting updates from the scene. Once I get there, protect President Trump at all costs. Now, there's been a lot of speculation today, so I don't know how much I want to add to it, but was Laura Loomer going just to cover the scene? Was she not going to hang out with her pal, Donald Trump? I know she's supposedly been banned from his plane, but banned from Mar-a-Lago. I don't think Milan is there. I'm not sure, but we don't need to add to any of the suspicion about that. We do not need to talk about that story. That we don't have enough information about. What we do need to do is call out how Republicans are again trying to use this and exploit today's news for political gain and try to accuse Democrats of inspiring political violence. But it is, in fact, the other way around, as we will talk about later in this video. It is Republicans who are inspiring violence in Springfield, Ohio. We've already seen classes have to go virtual in elementary schools next week because of bond threats, and that's exactly the type of behavior that Jessica Tarlow called out Donald Trump for right here.
Order. It's focusing on crime.
The themes of his campaign.
Yeah.
Which that totally makes sense to me, but I do want to push back on what David was saying about essentially saying that this is a problem that came from the Democratic side, and I would hope that we could take a little time off before we get to this. But the rhetoric out of the Republican side, out of Donald Trump himself or Don Jr. about the attack on Paul Pelosi, mocking him, making up a rumor that this was some gay sex event, right, and wasn't a terrible attack by someone who was politically motivated and could have taken his life. No. That is the genesis of this. This goes back to 2016.
Well, you can chicken and egg.
Now, like I said, Maggot is trying to spin their whole movement up into this angry craze and attack Democrats and say it is supposedly our fault, and they are doing so in the most ridiculous way. Don Jr., especially as we can expect, was pretty off his rocker tonight on social media, and he was mad specifically about this video of Lester H., which we're going to watch and then see Don Jr.'s response to.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
Lester, simply put, Springfield, Ohio has been inundated by threats over the last several days, closing government buildings, schools, hospitals. Today, effectively closing a local university campus after administrators said someone threatened a mass shooting targeting Haitians. This in light of, officials say, a false online conspiracy theory alleging Haitian immigrants in that city are eating people's pets.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance, continued to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio this weekend. There were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Veza is in Columbus, Ohio, with more Lester. Simply put, Springfield, Ohio has been inundated by threats over the last several days, closing government buildings, schools, hospitals today, effectively closing a local university campus after administrators said someone threatened a mass shooting targeting Haitians, this in light of officials say a false online conspiracy theory alleging Haitian immigrants in that city are eating people's pets. So Don Jr. is getting mad at Lester Holt for connecting the two clear, obvious dots between Donald Trump's inspiring of violence in Springfield, Ohio, along with J.D. Vaughn. What happened today? Now, I'm not saying these things are exactly corrected, but I am certainly believing that Republican rhetoric is the issue. It's not Democrats. Democrats are not calling for violence. We're talking about policy. That's not what Donald Trump is doing. And if he was so shaken up today, if this was so difficult for him, why was he posting things like this? Following the assassination attempt today, Donald Trump wrote an email saying, "Alert, I am Donald Trump. Fear not. I am safe and well, and no one was hurt. Thank God." But there are people in this world who will do whatever it takes to stop us. I will not stop fighting for you. I will never surrender, Donald Trump. Then followed up that email asking for donations. Yes. That's what this is about. It's about the grift. It's about the campaign. It's about nothing else. They don't care about stopping political violence. They don't care about safety. They don't care about gun control. They care about grifting. They want to take more from their supporters. They want to try to influence their election by pushing this narrative. And it's being, yes, we know it. Kamala Harris is focused on a bright future forward, and Donald Trump is obsessed with his own grievance, and that is perfectly put together in this great ad from the Lincoln Project that I want to check out.
Finally, a president who stands up for growth, opportunity, and prosperity for every American. Kamala Harris will fight for American jobs, lower costs, and give families a head start in a tough world.
We will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed.
Her plan will make it easier for people to start a family, raise kids, and buy a first home. It's a real start to a new economy where hard work and entrepreneurship pays off for everyone. Donald Trump's plan, another budget-busting trillion-dollar tax cut for billionaires like Elon Musk, a Trump tariff tax that screws American families, higher prices for everything. Kamala Harris, an economic plan that puts Americans first.
There is very clearly a better way forward in this race, and I think it should be abundantly clear to us all. And it certainly is to more and more people every single day who are supporting Kamala Harris. We're tired of this. We are so fed up of the same old, and it is just getting worse and more radical and more extreme. And so it is time that we move on. And doing so, call out these people for the lies they're pushing, and we're going to continue to do so on this show every single day. And so if you want to support us as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like, drop a blue heart in the comments if you stuck around to the end, and until next time, I'll see you soon.